Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of Slay the Stars, our first AMA. If you want to get in on the action next time, check out our Patreon. At the VIP tier and higher, you'll be able to submit questions to us, and we'll have exclusive access to the AMAs. Now, that doesn't mean we won't do one for the general audience here and there at the end of big arcs or after something particularly jarring.
Like death.
Like death. But our VIPs get exclusive AMAs once per month. Should be a good time. We thought releasing our first little discussion now would give everyone who wants it a chance to get to know us, a little about the campaign, the characters, and how this all came to be. I'm Leah, the producer and dungeon master of Slay the Stars. I'm a book nerd, horror junkie, and a mom. Joining me as always are Arthur.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Arthur. I am a voice actor, audio engineer, and banker. I'm sorry, am I supposed to be talking more?
Nope, you're
I'm
good.
boring. I'm sorry.
And Jen.
Hey, I'm Jen. I am unprepared, as always. That is me in a nutshell. I like to play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Can I add that later?
You can add it right
now.
now.
I can. I'm the audio engineer. Yes, I can add that later.
All right, I am an artist. I like watercolor mostly, but I've been dabbling in digital art. I've been doing that lately. I like a lot of arts and crafts, and I love to read, and that's about all I can think of.
Awesome. All right, so this should be easy enough. We have a jar full of questions. We're going to take turns reading and answering said questions until we get bored or run out of time for this episode.
Or both.
So, to decide who gets to answer the first question, we're going to do it the D&D way with a roll-off. Everybody, roll your D20s. Highest number goes first. Jen?
I got a 9.
I got a 10.
I got a 12. Oh, yeah.
You get to start this shindig.
I am. And I just want to say, Jen took the time to make a beautiful little jar with all these pretty little black... Hey, there's a picture being taken now.
Yeah.
It's on the social media page. You can see it. Very cute.
My phone confuses me.
All right. First question. If you could actually cast a cantrip in real life, which one and why? Bonus, on who? Oh, that's a tough one. It's such a good question. Okay. My knee-jerk reaction was to cast some painful spell at my enemies, but maybe we go with something a little nicer. Like, I really enjoy going to horror conventions, and one of my favorite all-time people who I got to meet once at a horror convention was Robert Englund, and I would like to cast Friends on him so he becomes my friend and we can hang out all the time.
Don't they, forget after 30
That's my
seconds?
answer. I don't know, maybe. But I don't have the spell in front of me. I just know that I want him to be my friend. Robert Englund, if you're listening to this, let's be friends. That's my answer.
All right, D&D Beyond.
And you got a 9. I think you had a 10. Okay,
Yeah.
That means we're going this way.
Sweet.
Arthur, you're up next.
Sweet Jeebus. Okay. What is the question? What makes this D&D podcast a standout? Ooh, I like that they roll. I don't know, that we're doing it, clearly. No. I think it's kind of unique because most podcasts have a full party consistently, like at least 4 plus. And playing with the dynamic of 2 is not the first time we've done that, especially during the pandemic. But having a smaller party allows us to tell more character-focused stories, and which is kind of what we wanted to do anyway. But with the character-focused stories, we don't have to have combat, even though I enjoy punching things in the face. But having...
Who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't do that in real life. Why would I not want to do that in my fantasy world? Exactly. But it gives a more character-focused dive into D&D characters, which allows us to tell different types of stories than what most people would be able to with a party of 4 to 8 people. And I will never run for 8 people again. That has been the worst experience of my entire life.
No, that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Okay.
Good answer. Good answer.
Are we supposed to keep these or throw them back in?
We'll keep them.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. This one. Okay. Rank the 3 pillars of D&D in order of importance to you: exploration, roleplay, and combat. And honestly, I'm probably going to go exactly in that order. Definitely, anytime I play games, I go to every single room. I open every single drawer. The exploration, I really love finding new things. And then the role play from there is, fun. I like combat. I mean, combat, who doesn't? RE, previous question. But it's the least important to me. The character development and the discovery of new worlds is what really gets it for me.
Oh, yeah. Back to me. Another question. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be? Oh my God. 18-year-old Leah was a hot mess. I think for me personally, that advice would be something like, and it sounds corny, but let me elaborate. Find the people who you enjoy being around and the things you enjoy doing. And if those two things overlap, that's where you're supposed to be. I think I spent way too much time trying to enjoy things and spend time with people who really just weren't the best for me. And just in the past how long have we been doing this? 5 years, I've found a hobby that's led me to some amazing people and experiences and things that I have never had before. And now I understand what it's like to be surrounded by people who have like ideals and passions, and it's great. It's great.
I can read, I swear. How is your imagining of creation of the podcast different from what we've actually done while recording thus far? I don't know, because honestly, I didn't know what to expect coming into this. And as far as what to create, I think the most difficult part has been the space that we have had to do, because we had our test fight, our test character creation at a different place than what we're recording currently. And that was not what we thought it was going to be. We have that somewhere, I think. I think it's a Zoom recording.
I think
we
so.
might release that later. We're not sure. But as far as what is different, I think it's just I mean, maybe it just is because of the way that I am. I don't have expectations for anything. It's more along the lines of it's I kind of didn't want it to have any expectations going in. That way I was either I don't know, I want it to flow very naturally. I didn't want it to be I didn't want to have high expectations for a character arc and then immediately get killed off by a brown bear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I also didn't want to spend a great deal of time and effort on these characters and then accidentally kill you with a brown bear. So, glad that didn't happen.
Thanks,
Glad,
test fight.
For sure. For
glad
sure.
you guys are still with us.
For sure.
I will say, backing up to Arthur's previous point about the 2-person campaign, I think that telling these stories is amazing. And also, having 2 people in a party, especially 2 multi-classed characters in a party, makes for some very unbalanced circumstances. And so it's going to be interesting when every encounter is deadly to see how this plays out.
Yep. Constantly struggling to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when one of those characters is a multi-class sorcerer wizard.
I'm very squishy.
Very, very squishy. So squishy.
That's, but what I lack in basic health and armor, I make up for in spunkiness.
It's true.
And we basically start every fight with, "Hey, look, I'm a target."
Fantastic. All right, let's see.
Oh, my shoulder.
Let's dig in deep and get my hand stuck in the jar.
That's a
And
meme if I ever heard it.
what do you mean? Oh man, son of a. Okay, what is your favorite book or top 3 if you can't choose? I can't choose. So I'm gonna cheat because I can't. Not only can I not narrow it down to 3, I'm going whole series with this.
Uh-oh.
All right.
So, Harry Potter. I mean, come on, classic. And His Dark Materials, Philip Pullman. Is that what that series is called? Oh, I'm so very sorry. The Golden Compass is the first one. That is an excellent series. It made me weep uncontrollably, so I'll never read it again, but I hold it close to my heart. And then I think I'm gonna go the A Court of Thorns and Roses as the next series. That's about 7. That's like over 2. That's over a dozen books that I just named. I can't narrow it down, but like the story's continuous, so
That's fine. It's totally not cheating. You don't have to feel bad.
oh, I don't care. I'm 100% cheating. I don't feel bad. But like none of my favorites are one-offs. So
That's fair.
yeah.
I mean, clearly, you play Dungeons and Dragons. You like long form narratives.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
makes sense. All right, my turn. Oh. Do you prefer to play your opposite personality type or something closer to your own? All right, I'm going to hit you with some hard facts right now. I have tried. I have tried with all my soul to not have my Leah come through in all of my characters, but it does. Eventually. It always does. My chaotic joie de vivre is it's hard to hold in when I'm having a good time. So you will never catch me playing like a sad character or a lone wolf kind of character. It's just not me. That's not to say that my characters don't have slightly different personalities or motivations and things like that, but in general, I find it super hard to completely deviate from who I am as a person. So
Well, I think it's also like that has a thing with we never know what the other characters are going to create in us as well.
it's true.
Because we've always played with chaotic people.
It's true.
And not that we are not chaotic. We are very much
We're incredibly
one of the
chaotic.
root of the problem here. But at the same time, like we have to like defer to what we know best, which just so happens to be us, which is just like, oh, okay, whatever.
It's true. Yeah, you're right. We play in a lot of chaotic parties. I think that happens again because we as friends are, like you said, chaotic. And it's hard not to get wrapped up in that. It's really hard to be like, I'm sad and lone wolf, and watch like your 3 friends over here like, well, that's fine. We're gonna go, pickpocket a prince and run a cart into a candy store. Whatever you guys did, I don't know.
Look, it was an accident. Okay.
I just wanted some candy.
Hey, we're gonna go to Theros, and instead of doing all that cool Theros stuff, we're gonna get a ship and sail to the edge of the world.
Like the one campaign, like we played a pirate campaign. Okay. You assholes have played pirate campaigns and you've been the assholes, and I'm just like, you guys want to play Greek mythology? They're like, yeah, let's be pirates.
To be fair, that is not at all where I wanted to go. I just went along for the ride.
It was
but
me.
see, that's another thing.
It was
is
me.
like
I
you
wanted
went
to go to the
along
edge of the
because
world.
that's where you had like with the party.
Yeah.
Like we were just playing, like, but that's not what you wanted your character to be, and you just had to
yeah.
defer to what you wanted the character to be after that.
Yeah.
I apologize. That was my fault.
That was 100% your fault.
I wanted to go to the edge of the
Listen,
world.
the edge of the world was your fault. The piracy, however.
That's true. I didn't want to be a pirate. I just want to go to the edge of the world.
You guys were pirate hunters. I don't know how you flipped that coin.
We're both. We are pirates to hunt other pirates.
Okay,
To
that's-
hunt
that's-
the
we're
pirate,
gonna have
you
to
must be the pirate.
All right, we're getting
We're gonna have
sidetracked.
to cut
Arthur,
that
read
one.
the next
All
one.
right, congrats! You won the lottery, like big time lottery. Aside from debt, well, what is the first purchase you make? Aside from debt, okay. So how much spending cash does that leave me after the debt? Like $3? Maybe a taco.
No, like I would
So,
assume.
so assuming no debt, probably a studio. I'll be honest, because this is ramshackled enough as it is. It works, but it's still ramshackled as hell.
Yeah.
Probably a studio, and then I'm a nerd. I'll probably start investing. I'm a geek. I'm sorry. Like your favorite books
Nerd.
are like fantasy books, and
Yeah.
meanwhile I'm upstairs reading like the anatomy of a book or a banking scandal, and I'm just like, yeah, this is great.
Gross.
That's cool.
In case my
Cool.
spreadsheet addiction couldn't tip you off enough as it was.
Yeah, I mean,
Studio. Guys, studio.
yeah, no, that's also what I am purchasing, but see, mine is very extensive and it's very specific. Like, I want a studio up in the mountains where there's like a river nearby, not too close, but like, you can see it through the glass windows because there's glass windows and there's not a lot of people around, but there's also art and ceramics and like a sound studio, whatever.
So you're going like straight up Bon Iver.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Okay.
Also, I don't want to work ever again. And also, I don't want to be around people unless I like people.
I agree with all those things.
So,
We will
Yeah.
never see you again. No, just kidding.
yeah. All right. Next question. Is there any particular advice you would give to somebody who is looking to start playing D&D? Just start. Just start. Like, you're not going to be good. Nobody is good when they start. Don't worry about it. I had various levels of seasoned players who assisted me when I first started, and then Leah started after I did, and we all, well, she and I guess, kind of grew up in D&D together, but yeah, just go for it. Just jump in. Don't worry about having all the nuances correct. If you're wrong, there's going to be someone at the table that tells you you're wrong. They will adjust and you will learn. So yeah, that's really the number one thing, is just to start. I was lucky enough to have friends who played, so I was able to join their table. Looking for a table, I would suggest a library or a community center, because that's like my dad plays, and he started because I knew our local library was putting a game together, and yeah. Just do it.
Agreed.
I guess I can't say just do it on a publication, can I?
Yeah, you
I
can.
don't think it's copywritten technically.
It might be.
Get-
I don't know.
Get playing. Just get to playing.
Just
Nah, yeah.
pick up a dice and roll it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. There's no reason to not start.
Oh, and don't let other people's influence of the game affect your enjoyment of it either. I think that does tend to throw some people off. Like there is a lot of, unfortunately, in any community, there is a lot of gatekeeping that happens.
Yeah.
So don't let the gatekeepers like keep you from the hobby that you probably enjoy. We could try different groups, try different people.
Right.
Um,
And funnily enough, not just that, not just the individuals who are playing, but the way that your characters mesh together.
mhm.
I have played with the same group of people forever, in different numbers and in different combinations, and the characters, like how you build them, that has been a big factor in whether or not I've enjoyed a game or enjoyed a whole campaign. So along those lines, I would definitely suggest that as you're building your character, you build someone who's going to be inclusive within the group unit. If you're trying to build that lone wolf character, you're gonna be a lone wolf. Like
Yeah.
that's the way it is the whole time. So just be cognizant of that part. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, just throw your basic stabby assassin, whatever you want, together and jump in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, most of my characters I build after you guys too, just
Mhm.
because I need to make sure that there's like something, and I
Yeah.
don't want to stand out because I don't like standing out. And now we're doing this.
Listen, it's really good. It's a good practice for like putting yourself out there. Also, one final note on that. If you join a table and it's not your cup of tea, you're not meshing with the other people, you don't like the DM style, whatever the reason is, find another one.
Just leave.
Just leave, because there are right, it has never been easier to find a D&D game than it is right now in person. There are and as well as like millions of games online and groups that are dedicated specifically to finding groups. And a lot of these people are taking it super seriously. These groups are doing like interviews to make sure people mesh, and that's awesome. It might feel like gatekeeping, but in this instance, it's not, because like you have to find the right table and the right people that, you know, your play styles match, and it just makes for a great experience for everybody. So if it's not working, find a new table. That's my advice.
But keep going.
But keep going. Keep going. Never stop.
And now I'm thinking of once because of the leave. Just leave. No.
You're welcome.
Okay. Oh. What was one thing about recording a podcast that you did not expect to happen? I think that when I first started thinking about doing a podcast, I had a lot of different ideas, and there were a lot of different configurations that were going into this. And for me, my main motivation was just wanting to tell a really good story. And, you know, from there, when we finally settled on this is the game we're going to play, this is the story, and that ball started rolling, it kind of opened the door to so many other things, like finding an amazing artist to draw these characters. You know, now we have a composer coming in to help us with intro and outro music. And, you know, tomorrow we're meeting a close friend who's also a photographer to do pictures. And like, it's become this like much bigger thing. And that's fantastic and amazing, but it's way more than I ever expected. And it's so exciting. And I'm glad that it's turned out this way.
So your answer is marketing.
Marketing. Marketing is the thing.
I think it's like the responsibility of it, right? Because like whenever we first started talking about putting a podcast together,
what, about a year ago at this point?
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time, yeah.
I think that the idea for me was just like, hey, we have fun, let's record it. And I never really thought deeper, like that much deeper into it. But you know, hiring the artist and the composer and the photographer are aspects, like, I mean, not even just that, but the meeting, like legit business meeting that we had. Of course, we goofed off, we always do, but like to discuss things like finances and stuff like that. I mean, that's never something that entered my mind because I was thinking of it purely from like a D&D perspective.
Yeah.
So that was unexpected for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's big. Exciting and big and scary and wonderful. And all of things. All the emotions.
Yeah, mostly scary. Let's see. What is your favorite D&D module that you've run or played through? So here's the thing. I've read, at this point, probably all the modules, just because I own them, because, you know, nerd. My favorite, but I've played the tail end of a lot of modules, especially Tomb of Annihilation. Because you guys needed a player to get through the end of the module and just to be there. So that was one of those characters. But probably the only one that I've actually played the whole way through has been Waterdeep, Dragon Heist. And I love my character from that. Sans is one of my favorite characters I've ever made, period.
Sans was wonderful.
So I would have to probably default to that one. But we have a lot of homebrew games that we play. So we always take bits and pieces from them. So saying that like a module was my favorite is a little disingenuous, because we use the modules more like guidelines than hard and fast rules.
It's true.
And the ones that we played, and thank you, Alex, for running Dragon Heist, because that was fun as hell. I think that just has to be the de facto one, because I feel it's unfair to say that I've played through Tomb of Annihilation because I missed the first 3/4 of it.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
We didn't finish Avernus, which we started it, and then
COVID.
yeah. And then right after COVID, we did the online gaming.
It's true.
Mm.
You jumped in for like the second half of Curse of Strahd.
Yeah, that was the other one.
So
I know I was forgetting one. And Curse of Strahd is great.
That's mine. Because I mean, like I as much as I liked Waterdeep, like my character Flash from Strahd is just peak chaos D&D for me.
Yeah, and we had a deck of many things in that campaign. I mean,
Yeah,
come
we
on.
did. And I had all the things. I mean, I can't even like it was like 2 sheets of inventory
it was a lot.
on my person.
I have to say Strahd as well, only because that was literally the first game I ever ran. It was so stressful from the very beginning. But man, I loved it. I loved every minute of that game, even the times when it was like stressful. It was just like pushing me to like change the game and do different things. And Flash made that game so much fun. I mean, in what campaign can you say that like one of the heroes dropped children out a window for a good reason?
On accident.
On accident.
Oops.
Yeah, pulling that card from the deck of many things and destroying all of the inventory you had, including the items you needed to defeat Strahd, and then having Arthur's character have to come in and just keep drawing until he could change that happened.
So what do you mean, peak chaos
I
D&D?
de-leveled. I de-leveled before the final fight
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. It was
Now,
Wow.
now we
It
we
was
and we are
No
playing.
regrets.
We are playing Rime of the Frost Maidens, so and we're kind of redoing that one. So that might end up being my favorite, just because I love like psychological terror in D&D.
Yeah.
and you're
More-
good at it, man.
I try.
You're good at it.
And then I have to at least give a shout out to Theros, even though I feel really disingenuous for Theros because you did nothing from that fucking module.
No,
Yeah.
Theros was so good though.
I mean, true to pirates, though, it's really more a set of guidelines.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
we
yeah.
pirated the campaign.
We did, yeah. And
No,
I'd
that was
like
so
to
much
say
fun.
my bad, but like, I mean, it was still enjoyable.
It was
You guys literally did that every time. We're like, all right, my bad, but we're still going to do this. Like, it's fine.
No, it was so good. We've never played a bad module because it's just fun. Okay, let's hear it, Jen. What's the next question?
What is the best compliment you've received? Dude, I don't know. I don't receive compliments well, so I tend to like thanks and move on. Let's see.
Is this the part where we make it really awkward and Arthur and I just start complimenting you to
Ugh.
see how red? Here, hold on. Let me. Where's
Ugh.
the camera? I want to film your face. That's.
It-
Hold on.
You looked right at it.
Shh. Okay, wait. It goes like this, and then like this.
We don't have to do this. We don't it's not a requirement.
Okay, we're doing this right now. Okay. Compliment number 1. You are an amazing friend and I love you so much. And compliment number 2. Your art is amazing. It's so
It
good.
is. It's all right.
No, it's so good.
It's awesome.
You are working on the map for this campaign that I've tried to do like literally 5 times, hours, and you worked on it for like one evening and it's already better than anything I'm capable of. All right, I'll turn the camera off. But
Yeah, so basically I feel like when I put this question together, I had a decent answer, but like right now I can't think of anything. And that's not to say that I don't get compliments, and I apologize to everyone who's ever complimented me. I just don't receive them well. So, I would imagine it would be something that was like, I don't hate being around you. Like, those are my favorite. Like, oh, good, thanks.
It's like the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
woof.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome is real,
It is.
and I have it.
It's been really bad with this podcast. Y'all, I just have to throw that out there.
Thank you.
All right. Next question. Would you consider yourself a go-with-the-flow character builder or a detail-oriented character builder?
Listen, I can tell you right now, every person in this room, go with the flow, detail-oriented, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah,
Just for the record, she pointed at Leah, me, then herself, just for context, because you can't see us.
Yes.
I would say that I am way more go with the flow. I get inspired to create characters based on what a DM tells me about their campaign. So
Can confirm.
if somebody says, we're gonna, because we were just talking about we're gonna play Theros, then okay, cool. I already know a little bit about the setting, and my character sort of unfolds to fit within the setting. I'm not really a person who comes up with characters like just spontaneously and starts like creating things and has this like huge backstory mapped out. My characters usually have strong motivations and like an impetus in their background that sends them on their adventure, but I'm not a book writer whenever it first starts out.
Am I answering that question or this question?
Up to you.
Up to you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very much a detail-oriented player, and then the second we get into a game, I'm just like, everything's great, everything's fine.
Yeah.
yeah.
I know what I'm about.
Yeah.
How do you know if you're telling the right story? You don't. That's kind of the point. Because if you're telling the right story and you think you're telling the right story, chances are you're wrong. You just gotta try your best. It's like playing darts blindfolded. It's just like, if you don't hit the board, if you hit somebody with a dart, you just kind of got to trust that you know around where the dart is, I guess. But I mean, that's kind of the reason we play this, is we don't know what's going to happen. Like, the rules are our own to create and chaosify.
Yeah.
How did you choose your PC or NPC name or names? So I have a Pinterest, like most people do.
Yeah, I love Pinterest.
And a long time ago, I went through and started pinning just a bunch of names that I thought were interesting or cool. So the Zamira Kaltain is two of the names, but I chose them more for their meaning. So Zamira means a song, and Kaltain means from the Dark Town. So that is how I chose her name.
And Leah knows the reasons why all of our names are the way that they are, because I think just in general, you've spent the most time with us on the character creation.
I did spend a lot
and
of time.
then maniacally giggle behind every decision that we've ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that I have given you both only as much background information about this campaign as I absolutely had to, because this is not a scripted show. This is meant to be a D&D game. We're actually playing. I want to surprise you both. And there were frequently moments where you would make decisions. I didn't even know what Zamira's name meant until just now. And again, this is one of these moments where you tell me something and I'm like, that's great to know. I'm not trying to just, yep, it's good. I don't know how it keeps happening. We're on the same wavelength here. Let's go to the next question.
I think just being friends for so long, you just
It's true.
kind of,
Yeah. Like, literally, everything is just,
yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. Do you have plans for what happens if, and hopefully not when, a PC dies?
No.
I have tried to come up with plans because it is so likely. But I really don't, for a couple reasons. One, I think that any plan I would create now would only be viable for the next couple sessions, and they'll be in a totally different place, and I would have to come up with a new plan. And secondly, I am not a superstitious person, but I also believe that you sort of manifest what you put time into.
Yeah.
So you're a superstitious person.
And so I feel like if I spend too much time planning what happens if I kill them, then I'm going to accidentally do it. So, we'll just have that be a surprise for all of us when it happens.
Take that. Oh. What are you afraid of? Spiders. 100% spiders. Fuck spiders.
And I'm
Next
taking
question.
notes. Taking notes. Does not like
That's it.
spiders.
That's just,
I'm not afraid of anything.
I have put my foot through a wall to try to kill a spider before.
I don't doubt that happened.
I can show you where it happened.
But then if you missed and now you're stuck, like now what?
I die. I just
Oh, okay.
die.
Do you have any hard lines you won't cross in a game? Yes. Anything dealing with sexual assault. Nope.
I think that's a hard line for all of us, though.
I mean, as a group of people, friends of mine, you're friends of mine because we are on the same wavelength, but also because these are things that I know you wouldn't either. It's a level of trust.
That's another thing when you're looking for a group. It's so important to talk about your lines because people will inadvertently cross them if they don't know they're there. We have the benefit of having played together for a long time, and so we know a lot about each other and kind of where those lines are. So we don't cross them. So,
and when I say like anything dealing with sexual assault, I don't mean like it can't be in your character's backstory, because I think, unfortunately, for so many women, that's just a fact of life.
Mhm.
And I don't think that it makes any sense to negate people's real life experiences. But that being said, I'm talking about like, we're never going to act it out. We're never
No.
going to have any sort of like, that's not happening. People need an escape from reality, not like a harsh, glimpse or anything else. So that's,
I agree.
yeah.
Well said.
Well spoken.
If you could meet one of your characters in real life, who would it be?
Now, are we limiting it to this campaign or any of our characters?
I'm going to say any. And I know mine immediately. And it's funny because you would think maybe like Flash is one of my favorites, but I think Corwin Duskbreaker is the one that I would go with.
100%. Now, because you've DM'd for us so much, should we include your characters that you DM'd for on that list?
Maybe you could.
Because you played what? You're DMing currently what? 4 campaigns within this past year?
Oh, within the past year? Yeah, I mean, past year's time, at least 4. So it's been a lot. It's been a lot. COVID was a lot. I had one escape, guys. I had one escape, and it was D&D. But if it had to be one of my PCs that I was going to meet, it's such a toss up, right? I think that meeting Celeste, my character from Theros, would be amazing, because she's a wild ride, and we could go walk the plains together because she's a badass now. But also, I mean, Livia from the same campaign as Corwin. She was my PC who then became a DM PC when I sort of like took over. That was a whole story. Anyway,
Another AMA.
she's kind of like my soul, man. So, who doesn't want to meet their soul? I want to hear your answer.
Oh, Sans, 100% Sans.
Sans, yeah.
I love Sans. He's still one of my favorite characters to meet. Now, I love Blanc too, but I would never want to meet Blanc. That man is terrifying.
Not now.
Terrifying.
Yeah, he's scary now. Maybe when we started that game.
Yeah, maybe. Just an angry Scottish man with a sword who could literally smite gods. I mean, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I would like to again apologize, but this time I mean it. That was my fault. At least partially.
That or I don't know. I don't know if I want to meet Nib. I think Nib is like that part of my personality that I never want to actually come to fruition in reality, just because it terrifies me. But I'm trying to think. Keep in mind, I have 184 characters built on D&D Beyond, so finding which one...
He's not kidding.
He's insane.
Really not. The one that I played for Ravenloft. Who I played for Ravenloft, I think he would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Ifrit.
Yeah, Ifrit. That was
Yeah. He was a good time with his sandwiches. With some sandwiches, man.
Yeah. Oh God.
The sandwiches that existed, they just didn't fill you up at all because they were literally minor illusion sandwiches. ASI versus Feet. Go. FEAT, by the way, just for the record.
Gross.
ASI or Feet. Feet, usually, is just what my go-to is. I love any feat that gives you a +1 to your stat and spell slots, especially from non-spellcasters. I think... was it Tasha's that introduced a bunch of like new ones, like the Shadow Touched or the Fey Touched, where they gave you like Misty Step and a couple others. Like,
yeah,
I
Faith,
loved that they did that. That was so cool.
It was great. The Strixhaven feats are crazy.
Oh, yeah, that too.
This is where I feel like I'm not a good D&D player because my answer would be whatever Alex said.
Whatever Alex tells me is a good idea for my character.
Shout out to Alex. Who did 5-year-old you want to be? What did 5-year-old you want to be? I wanted to be actually I don't really remember. I think a veterinarian. Maybe a marine biologist. I feel like that is basically any girl born in the 80s wanted that.
That's cool.
I definitely wanted to be a marine biologist specializing in sharks. And then I also, at 5 years old, wanted to be a fucking Power Ranger. So, I mean, I don't know if that's like
Yeah,
a
no,
good
I mean,
benchmark.
But I will say that from the age of like roughly 20 until literally right now, today, this very second, I would like to be Laura Croft. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want to be Laura Bailey. That's who I want to be.
I also want to be Laura Bailey.
I don't want to be her because I'm in love with her, like in a very platonic sense. I'm very in love with her.
It's not platonic for me. Like I love you. Please marry me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm the asexual here, so I feel a little out of place.
Hard eyes, Laura Bailey. Hard eyes.
All right, so
I'm gonna put them on.
no, don't wrap it yet. Not yet, because I'm not done yet. Are there any other questions that we had for each other that didn't get answered in this first part that you would like to ask now? One. You get to ask one question.
Of each other? No, and here's why. I had to come up with all these goddamn questions, and the jar's not even half, like, gone from what it was.
That's fair.
So I feel like I've already asked everything.
I have a question for both of you. So when you were coming up with Zem and Shar, what for you was the thing that you were most excited about them?
What I'm most excited about for Zem.
Yeah, for Zem, about Zem, whatever you want to share.
I'm really excited for her to learn who she is and how she came to be. I'm really excited to learn who she is and how she came to be because this is part of what you were talking about before, where there are certain amounts that we, I built and then we built and then that I don't know yet. And I really love that. And I'm going to take it back even further to the, just do it, like part of this session where, find yourself a DM that you can trust and that you can like build these things off of, because it's a lot of fun to be able to say, hey, I have this idea, and they say like, oh, that's fantastic and this is going to work, or they say not quite like that, but what about this, and you workshop it. It's just a really cool way to extend your sessions.
Yeah.
Probably just maybe a cliche answer, like his past trauma, just coming to grips with it. I think in general, because I mean, he's a dumb kid. I mean, all of us remember being dumb kids. Like, you don't know how to process feelings. I barely know how to process feelings now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I am also learning how to deal with it. I mean, it's kind of a two-way street, or maybe a crossroads. Bisection? I don't know. It's something.
Here we go. All right. Okay, well, we will wrap this up here. For anybody who is listening who wants to pledge to us, we're going to have a little extended portion that's going to be available only for our VIPs on Patreon. But if that's not you, we totally understand. Feel free to jump into episode 1, and we hope you enjoy it. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Intro music by Isaac Fires. Character designs by Cam Gonzalez. Photos by Rachel Bianchi. Special thanks to Kaylin Williamson. Produced by Leah Hemrick. Graphics designer Jen Kearney. And audio engineer Arthur Polino.